Hey guys, how are you? This is Belle. Welcome to our GH live stream room. So today we're gonna show you the 6 colors, and they all come from our G645 fast drying dipping powder. As you can see, we got the 6 colors, and the kit includes 6 pieces fast drying dipping powder and the 4 pieces essential dip glues. The 6 pieces powder and the 4 pieces essential dip glues. See base, activator, the top, and brush saver. The top and brush saver. Well, here is the color chart of the 6 colors. As you can see, we got the neon pink, the neon purple, some bright colors, and we also got some autumn winter colors like purplish red and reddish brown. Well, and today our nail tech is wearing the 45 color. It's a neon pink and white jump color design. And they look very pretty. Well, today we're gonna show you how we use the 3 colors, the 45, the number 51, and number 54 to make this gorgeous design. So now let's go for the tutorial. Well, and for this kit, G645, we're going to have the limited time lightning deal on 22nd of August from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's Saturday in American time. And if you want more information about the lightning deal for some other kits or more tutorials for the nail art design, you can follow us on Facebook, Amazon, or YouTube. So now let's go for the tutorial now. Well, we are gonna use the 45 color. Well, let's open the caps. Well, this is the number 51. And the number 54. Well, before we getting started, we need to use a nail tip to stir the powder well. Well, this is to make the powder feel loose and not stick with each other, especially for some deep colors, like purple or some neon colors, because they are heavier than other light colors. And by this way, when you dip your finger into the color powder, it won't get clumpy or uneven. Well, let's take out the bumper pad. We're gonna use this bumper pad to dry the nail bed and remove the shine of nails. And this is to let the powder well stick on the nails. And if you don't have the bond or primer at home, you can just check it out from our GHdip powder accessory kit on Amazon. Well, let's go for another hands. You can see it's very handy. But it is for disposable use. Well, let's start to make the nail art design. Well, first apply the base. Well, as you can see, the cap is very easy to open and not stringy or no caking. Well, you have to brush it very evenly, make sure every time. Well, dip in, stay for a while, and let the glue well absorb with the powder. Tap it off. Use the brush to help you brush off the excess powder. Then we start to apply the second layer. Well, make sure it won't touch your cuticle area. Otherwise, the powder will stick on the cuticle part and it will cause the lifting problem. Then we dip into it again. Take it out, tap it off. Brush off the excess powder. Well, as you can see, the 2 layers, the colors is full enough. Well, let's take out the sequins. Well, before use, we have to mix it well. Well, here we need to apply one more base to let the sequence well stick on the nail surface. Well, brush evenly. Make sure one leg of base touch the cuticle area. We're gonna use the small brush to pick up some sequins and sprinkle them slightly on the front part of nails. You can just sprinkle them very naturally, randomly, just let it go wherever you want. Well, as you can see, the nails looks very natural and unique. Well, next we are going to use the stamping foil. We're gonna use the floral stamping foil with the flowers on it. Well, just use a tweezer to pick up any shade you like and stamp it on the nail surface. Just make sure it sticks well on the nail surface. And next, we're going to pick up another one and make sure it sticks well on it. You can choose whatever stamping foil you want, not just the flower shapes. Well, you can see the nail art design looks very pretty. Well, next we are gonna use the natural powder. Well, here we need to apply the base again because we're going to dip the clear powder in. Brush it evenly. Make sure the powder can cover the nail surface. Well, then we're gonna use a nail stick to apply the natural powder on. Here we use a nail tip is because we don't want the sequence mess up the clear powder. And we can also make sure the sequence and the stamping foil well stick on the nails. We use this clear powder to cover the nail surface to protect the nail surface. Well, next we turn to another hand. We are going to do the same nail art design. Well, let's repeat the step. Apply the base. Make sure you won't apply too much or too less. Otherwise, when you dip into the powder, the nail surface is very easy to get clumpy or uneven. Yeah, as you can see, the surface is very smooth. And when you use the brush to brush it off, the powder won't stick on the brush because our powder can dry itself within 30 seconds. Well, then we start to apply the second layer. Dip in, stay for a while, and let the powder well react with the glue. Then tap it off. Use the brush to help you brush off the excess powder. Well, make sure the base not touch the cuticle area. Otherwise, the powder will stick on the cuticle part. Well, here we need to apply one more base and let the sequence stick on the nail surface. Well, as you can see, our sequence got the larger sizes or the small sizes. You can just choose whatever you like. Well, just sprinkle them very naturally, very randomly. Well, next we're going to use a tweezer to pick up some flowers. Some flowers on the stamping foil to make your nails look very delicate or exquisite. Well, actually for any colors, you can do the stamping foil. And it can make your nails look very special. And it's different from some solid colors. Well, next we're going to pick up another one. Well, next, the last one. As you can see now, we got the sequins, some sparkles, and the stamping foils, flowers on it. So we have to apply one layer natural powder to protect the nail surface, to make sure it won't take off from our nail surface. So next, as you can see, we need to apply the clear powder. And this clear powder is also belongs to the fast drying dipping system. Well, if you use our natural powder, you don't need to apply any activator before filing. Then we use a nail stick to apply the clear powder on. You don't need to file, and you don't need to apply activator before filing, because the clear powder can dry itself within 30 seconds. Well, next, we're gonna do the second nail art design. We're gonna use this color, the purplish red color. Well, next, we're gonna apply the base. Make sure every time you brush it from middle left to right, brush it evenly. Dip in to the color powder, stay for a while, then take out and tap it off. Use the brush to help you to brush off the excess powder. Then we apply the second layer. Make sure you won't apply too much. Just a very thin layer. As you can see, our base is very easy to apply, well controlled. Well, dip into the powder, tap it off, use a brush to brush off the excess. Well, as you can see, we only apply 2 layers and the color is already full pigment. And this thickness is very good. Then we need to apply one more base to let the sequins and some decals well stick on the nail plate. Make sure you brush it very evenly. Well, we still need to use this sequins. The sparkle bling bling glitter. Well, you can just sprinkle it from the top. Well, next, we're going to use the twister to pick up the decals. It's like a shell shape decal. And you can also put whatever like gems or anything you like. And we're gonna use the twister to pick up the striping. It's a colorful striping with hologram effect. Well, as you can see, it looks very pretty. Well, then we need to apply one more base and dip into the natural powder to protect and to cover the nail surface. And make sure those sequins or decals won't take off. Well, use a nail stick to apply the clear powder on. Make sure well, here we didn't dip into the clear powder. It's because we don't want the decals messed up or the sequins messed up the clear powder. Well, the first one we already finished. Then we turn to the second nail. Well, repeat the steps. Apply the base. Make sure you brush it very evenly from middle left to right. Make sure not touch the cuticle area. Otherwise, it's very easy to get lifting. Well, dip in the color powder. Tap it off. Use the brush to help you to tap off. Well, then we apply the second layer. As you can see, it's very easy to apply, and it won't keep running everywhere. We can use the base very easily. Well, dip again. Stay for a while and tap it off. Brush off the excess powder. Well, we don't suggest to dip in 3 times because actually for 2 times it's already full pigment enough. Well, here we need to apply the base again because we need to make sure the sequins will stick on the nail plate. Well, use a small brush to tap it off, sprinkle them on the front part of nails. Well, then we're gonna use a tweezer to pick up a decal. The decal is like the shell shape. And you can just put whatever you want. And we're gonna pick up a striping. It's a colorful striping. Just put it very randomly and make sure it will stick on. Well, make sure every decals on the nail plate so that your nails will look very pretty. Well, then we need to apply 1 layer natural powder to protect the nail surface. Well, actually for our fast drying dipping powder, actually for some solid colors, we don't even to apply the clear powder to cover or to protect the nail surface because for our solid powder, the color is full already. We don't need to apply sheer powder to cover it. But for some glitter colors or some colors with decals on, we have to apply the clear powder on. Well, then we turn to another finger. Apply the base. Again, brush it evenly. Dip into the color powder. Stay for a while. Make sure the powder will stick on the nail plate. But as you can see, the first layer, the nail surface is very smooth. And use the brush to brush off the excess powder. Now then we start to apply the second layer. Make sure the base won't touch the cuticle area. Well, dip again into the color powder. Stay for a second. Well, tap it off. Use a brush to help you to brush off the excess. Well, as our fast drying dipping powder can dry within 30 seconds, you can see the powder won't stick on the brush, and the brush is very clean. Well, then we come to another nail. Apply the base again. Brush it evenly. Make sure every time, because it's a very key point. Well, dip into the color powder. Take out, tap it off. Use a brush to help you. Well, then we start to apply the second layer of the base. As our fast drying dipping powder is very smooth with correct sizes, so actually when we dip into the second layer, the nail surface is still very smooth. Actually, we don't need to buff or file a lot. Well, then we use another color for another hands. Well, repeat those steps. Brush it very evenly from middle left to right. Well, dip in the color powder. Stay for a while. Tap it off. Use a brush to help you brush off the excess. Well, then we start to apply the second layer. As you can see, our base is very easy to apply. And nail stringing is thinner than top, but it's very easy to apply. Well, dip into the color powder again. Stay for a second. Tap it off. Use a brush to help you. Well, then we come to another nail. We still use the same color. Well, apply the base again. Brush it very evenly. Make sure every time you dip it very well. Well, dip into the color powder. Stay for a while. Tap it off. Use a brush to help you. Well, then we apply the base again. Repeat the previous step and make sure the base won't touch the cuticle part. Otherwise, it will cause the lifting or chipping problem. Stay for a while and let the powder well rig out with the glue. Tap it off, brush off the excess. Well, you can see 2 layers, the colors is very full already. Well, then we come to the top finger. Well, apply the base again. Make sure every time we brush it very evenly, from middle left to right. It's very essential step, otherwise the powder will get clumpy when you dip your finger into the color powder. Tap it off, brush off the excess. Then we start to apply the second layer of base. Make sure you brush it evenly every time. Well, if you can doing this whole process very well, I make sure that your nails can last at least 2 weeks. It's gonna be no problem. Well, tap it off and brush off the excess powder. Well, then we turn to another hand, the top finger. Well, repeat these steps. Well, if you are the first one to come in our live stream room, you can keep an eye on it. Well, step by step, dip into the color powder. Stay for a while. Tap it off. Brush off the excess powder. To make sure the powder won't stick on the brush when we apply the second base. Well, start to apply the base again. Brush it very evenly. Make sure you won't apply too much because it will make the powder get clumpy and make your nail surface get uneven. Well, dip into the color powder again. Well, tap it off. Use a brush to help you brush off the excess powder. Well, now actually we have done the 10 fingers, finished already. And we have to clean up our decks. Well, in this time, I would also want to remind you guys that for this kit is G645, and we are going to have the limited time lining due on 22nd of August from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Well, in this step, we are going to, in this step, we need to apply the top. Well, you can see the brush get dirty already. We need to use the brush saver to clean the brush. Well, as you can see, our brush is clean already. And use this fluffy wipe to wipe off. And then we put it in the base again. Well, make sure every time, always keep the kind very close after you use. Well, next we're gonna use a drill machine to file the nail surface. For our fast drying dipping powder, remember that we don't need to apply any activator before we do the filing or buffing, because our powder can dry itself within 30 seconds. So it's very easy to operate, saving your time. Well, as you can see, when we do the filing, we need to use 2 fingers to protect the cuticle area. Otherwise, it's very easy to get hurt when we do the filing. As you can see, first, we need to file the nail plate. Just do it very slightly, because for our powder, it's smooth enough. So we don't need to file or buff a lot. Well, just file the nail plate, do it slightly, then we go to the cuticle area. Make sure we file the cuticle part, because it's a very essential step. Just file the nail surface which goes clumpy or uneven, and make the nail surface more smooth. Well, we can also adjust the speed of the machine to avoid the skin getting hard, especially for the cuticle part, because it is very vulnerable. Well, for our fast drying dipping powder, actually for the solid colors, we don't need to cover the clear powder. Then we start to file, But for some glitters or some nail service with decals, we have to use a clear powder to cover and to protect the nail service. And make sure the glitters or some decals won't take it off. Well, for our fast drying dipping powder, it can dry within any room temperature. Because actually, a lot of clients complain that when they use some regular dip powder, the top coat or the powder is very hard to dry, especially in winter. But when you use our fast drying dipping powder, you can completely get rid of this point, because our powder can dry itself. Well, and if you don't have the drill machine at home, you can just pick up a file from our GHdip powder accessory kit. For our accessory kit, we got like files, the dip trays, the clear powder. It's very useful. You can just check it out from our Amazon. Well, here we finished the filing. Then we need to take out the file to shape your nails. Well, use the nail file to shape the nails, the cuticle parts, the nail edge part. You can you can put it in different angles to make different shape of nails. Remember to not over filing or over buffing, because actually we don't need to do it a lot because our powder is smooth enough. Not too fine, not too clumpy, just smooth with correct sizes. Then we turn to another nails. We're gonna use this nail file to do the shape every time and make sure your nails look very pretty. Well, you can also check this file out in our GHdip powder accessory kit. And I also want to mention that our lining deal about this kit, G645. Well, next we're gonna use the buffer. We need to use it to smooth your nail edge and your nail plate. We need to use this buffer to make your nail surface smooth and look shiny. It's also a very important step, because we need to make the nail plate look more even. And when we apply the top coat on, it's gonna be very shiny. Well, as you can see, we need to, our nail tech is using 2 fingers to protect our model's cuticle area part. You have to pay attention to it. Well, remember guys that for our fast drying dipping powder, we don't need to apply the activator because it's a brand new formula. It's different from any other brands in the market. And for our GH kits, we actually got total 18 kits. And we have 108 colors for your choices. And later we also will release some other collections like 12 pieces kit, and you're gonna like 12 colors for your choices. Well, and you can check from our right corner, and we got our lining due on the 22nd of August from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Well, I suggest you guys to buy during that time because we are gonna have a very favorable price. And if you want to get more information about our kits or some lining deals about other kits, you can also join our Facebook group. But remember that we only need to apply one-time activator in the whole process. And make sure you don't apply too much activator in this step. Well, and after we finish the buffing, we are going to apply the activator. Well, make sure don't over buffing or over filing. Well, you can also check it out, this buffer from our GHdip powder accessory kit. We got two kinds. Well, brush off the dust particles. Well, the greater advantages of our fast drying dipping powder that difference from any other brand's powder is that we don't need apply activator to make the powder dry. Because our powder can dry itself within 30 seconds, whether in winter or summer. It can dry itself anytime, any room temperature. We'll use the buffer to file from nail plate to the cuticle part. Just do it very slightly. Just scribing the nail surface and make it become very smooth. Well, you need to make sure your nails look more even and very smooth. Just file any places that went clumpy, or uneven, but not over filing or over buffing. Because for our fast drying dipping powder, actually you don't need to buff or file a lot. And even sometimes you don't even need to do this file or buffing. And if you are doing this, the whole process very well, and we can make sure your nails can last like at least 2 weeks. It's saving your time and saving the nail tech's time. For our fast shine dipping powder is a very easy to operate for home users. And next, we're gonna use a brush to help you brush off the dust particles, the dust. Make sure the dust won't show on the nails when you apply the top coat on. Then we're gonna use the fluffy wipe to wipe it off. And if you don't have this fluffy wipe, you can just use a paper towel or a tissue, and that is okay. Well, next we're gonna use the activator. For our activator, it is to make the top coat get dry and double shine. But remember that's not apply too much activator. Otherwise, the powder will get cracking when your nails are done. Well, and for the activator, it's very easy to volatilize. So we should always keep it tightly closed after it has been used. And remember that we only need apply one-time activator in the whole process. And for our activator, it's without a very strong smell. It's different from any other brand's activator. Then here we need to apply the top coat. Well, the cap is very easy to open, and no stringy look and no caking. Well, here we need to use a tweezer to pick. Well, then we need to apply the top coat. But remember that we need to apply 2 layers top coat. And first layer is a very thin layer. Well, and when the first layer gets matte but still sticky, we can start to apply the second layer. We cannot wait the top coat dry completely, then we start to apply the second layer, because it will make the top coat very hard to dry and not shiny at all. Then we pick up decals and put it on the nail plate. Well, then we start to apply the second layer. Our top coat can dry within 1 minute. It's faster than any other brand's top. Well, here we start to apply the first layer of top. Remember not to apply too much. The first layer, just a very thin layer. Well, start to apply the first layer. Well, actually, we apply first layer top coat on the 3 fingers one by one, and then we need to come back to the first one and start to apply the second layer. you can take it as a cheek, a basic standard to apply our top coat, because by this step we can make sure our top coat gets double shiny. Remember that we cannot wait the top coat dry completely, then we start to apply the second layer. Because you know why so many clients complain that their top coat is not shiny at all? Because they do it wrong. So you have to follow our steps. Well, as you can see, the top coat double shiny. Well, then we come to another hands. Well, here we need to apply the activator. Not applying too much activator, because it will make your nails get cracking. Well, actually, we only need to apply one-time activator in the whole process. And make sure you keep the cap tightly closed, because the activator is very easy to volatilize. Now we need to apply the top coat. In this step, we have to apply the top coat 2 layers. Well, first layer, we have to apply a very thin layer. And when it half dries meaning the top coat gets matte but still sticky. Well, here we apply the first layer of this nail. But then we start to apply the second coat. Now here we need to pick up a decal, a pearl decal, to put it on the nail surface. Well, then we start to apply the second layer of this nail. Well, as you can see, our top coat double shiny. Well, then we start to apply the first coat of this color. Well, we cannot wait the top coat dry completely. Otherwise, the activator will react with the top coat completely. And finally, it will make the top coat is very hard to dry and not shiny at all. Well, then we start to apply the second layer of this color. Well, for our top coat, it's very easy to apply. And for second layer, you have to apply more than the first layer. As you can see, it's very shiny. And as I said before, basically we apply the first layer top coat on 3 fingers one by one, but then we have to get back to the first one and start to apply the second layer. And by this way, you can make the top coat get dry and double shiny. Well, as you can see, we have done these nail art designs and looks very pretty. You can try to DIY this kind of design at home. As you can see, it looks very natural. It's very special and unique. It's very attractive. Well, then we are done the nails. See you guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.